In the heart of West Africa, a quiet revolution is underway. A revolution not driven by protests or coups, but by gold. Burkina Faso, a small landlocked nation once seen as one of the poorest in the world, is now making a move that could shake the foundations of global geopolitics. And at the center of it all stands Ibrahim Traoré, a young leader determined to rewrite the rules of Africa's economic destiny. For decades, Africa's gold and minerals have flowed out of the continent, enriching corporations abroad while leaving African nations trapped in poverty. But now, Traoré is changing the equation. He has announced a bold partnership involving gold cooperation with Russia, part of a new wave of alliances forming across the continent. It's not just about trade. It's about power, sovereignty, and the fight for control over Africa's natural wealth. Traoré's government recently moved to nationalize key gold mines and to build Burkina Faso's first national gold refinery. His message to the world was clear. Africa will no longer export raw resources without control or fair benefit. Instead, the value will stay at home in African hands. But what makes this story even more significant is who he is partnering with. Enter Russia, a nation rapidly expanding its influence across Africa through trade, defense, and energy deals. While the West watches with concern, Moscow is strengthening economic and political ties with countries from Mali to Sudan, and now Burkina Faso. Reports indicate that the two nations are working on frameworks for gold and mining cooperation, alongside broader economic exchanges. For Russia, this is more than business, it's strategy. For Burkina Faso, it's survival and opportunity. After decades of Western aid and foreign control, Traoré's administration believes this new relationship could help secure financial independence. Russia, in turn, gains access to critical minerals and a new ally in the Sahel, a region rich in resources and geopolitically vital. But this deal has not come without criticism. Some analysts in Europe and the United States warn that closer ties with Moscow could isolate Burkina Faso from Western support. They call it a risky gamble that could bring new forms of dependency. Others, however, see it as a long overdue step toward true sovereignty, one where African nations choose their partners freely based on mutual respect and shared interest. The timing of this move is also crucial. As the global demand for gold rises, and traditional currencies face uncertainty, gold has become the new weapon of economic power. By building a national refinery, Burkina Faso can refine and export gold directly, bypassing the systems that kept profits abroad for decades. Across the continent, a new generation of African leaders from Mali, Niger, to Burkina Faso are calling for a different kind of future. A future where Africa's wealth funds its own development. A future where alliances are chosen by Africans, not dictated from outside. And at the heart of that vision is the question, who controls Africa's gold? To some, Traoré's partnership with Russia looks like a symbol of courage, a young leader standing up to old powers and reclaiming Africa's resources. To others, it's a dangerous shift that could deepen the divide between Africa and the West. But one thing is certain, the world is watching. What happens next in Burkina Faso could inspire a movement across Africa, where nations demand control over their own wealth, industries, and destiny. In the end, this isn't just a story about gold. It's a story about identity, about who shapes Africa's future, and who truly benefits from its riches. The outcome of this partnership will determine whether this moment becomes a turning point for African independence, or just another chapter in the global race for resources. Television subscribe to US Africa Focus for more updates on the continent's most important stories, where Africa's voice leads, not follows.